Poison is based on his return to Yorkshire after 40 years living abroad. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Just so give us. This is a little bit of your life story weaved into fiction.
Yeah, I put the basic situation in there that somebody who spent a long way away from his home country comes back at a certain stage in his life and buys an isolated old house. His wife has recently died, so he wants to be alone. He wants to work on a musical composition. And he becomes involved in the history of the house that had a tragedy.
Because you left the UK for Canada. And
I left the UK for Canada in the mid-70s, yeah.
Why did you leave?
I went to do a Masters in English and Creative Writing, and I thought I'd come back and get a job teaching, but it wasn't that easy, but I could get a job in Canada. And time went on, I got married, and the next thing I know, 20 years have passed and I'm still there.
I mean, it's funny, isn't it? We're talking so much about students at the moment, about the trouble they're having getting places in universities. Should they go and learn overseas? That's an option now people are looking at. Is that what you did at that time? Could you not get a place here and you went off and studied elsewhere?
Well, yeah, the reason was that there really weren't any creative writing courses in England in the mid-70s, not that I knew of. And this one was advertised in the English department at Leeds University, and there it was. It's what I wanted to do. I wanted to write, so I thought, and I wanted to travel, so it was perfect.
Funny how things work out, isn't it? So again, the inspiration then for the book is that this was a house that you saw on your return, in reality, from Canada. Just tell us about that then.
It was a walk I started going on near where I live, and it's just a nice hour's gentle walk. But you pass this very isolated dale, and there's an old house there that always intrigued me. And being of a sort of morbid cast of mind, I thought, well, I wonder who was murdered here, where are the bodies buried? And I didn't really want to know about the house. I wanted to make it up. So I went from there just to my imagination and, invented this tragedy that had happened there, and someone coming and wanting to find out what really happened.
Do you know what, Peter? I have a personal beef about one thing, which is that the cover of a book, right, there it is, you can sit up there, and it's got the house, it's got a picture of the house. And I don't like it when books kind of tell me what things look like. Because I started reading the book and I kind of had to forget about the image on the front because I wanted to imagine it from what you'd written.
Well, you're right.
Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't look like that.
Does it not?
No, I mean, that's a different version of it.
It's a stylized image.
Yeah.
It sort of irritates me a bit because it's like it's kind of telling you how you're going to imagine something. And the whole point of a book is that you kind of read it and you can create it in your own head. It's a bit like when they make a film version of something, isn't it? Where
Although some people quite like the help with the visualisation, they think, oh, that sucks them in a bit more. You see, it goes both ways.
Well, I can see you've got to have a cover on the book, and I do appreciate it.
Well, you prefer a more abstract cover than maybe,
yes, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, just thought I'd mention it.
Okay.
Tell us about your writing process then, in terms of, because obviously we'll get on to DCI Banks as well, but in terms of the crime, the research that you do, the hours that you spend, is it a daily process that you go through? How disciplined are you?
Yeah, I like it to be a daily process. I mean, it takes a lot of self-discipline, and I do have deadlines and things like that, but if I can get, a lot of days in a row, 2 weeks, a month, then I'll work every day and get a lot more done than stop, start, because you get a momentum going. But I don't do a lot of planning and outlining at first. I just basically get, see the house and start wondering about it.
But then you have to think
writing
along the lines of the storyline, not giving anything away at all, because this is where it starts, is this woman who gets hanged for the murder of her husband, which then this chap moves into the house and thinks, well, did she actually, really murder her husband? And then it all unravels from there. So did you sort of go into the local libraries and pick out various stories? I mean, how does that work? Or is it all just from the imagination?
No, there's a lot of research. And I use that famous Trials book. They used to come out these green-covered penguins with accounts, very short accounts of famous trials like Rattenbury and Ruth Ellis and things like that. So I read a lot of those, and I wanted to get that tone for her trial and for her execution. And then I have her journal in there. I mean, it's very much about this woman, Grace Fox, who was hanged for murdering her husband. A lot of people thought it was a true story, but it's not. I made it up. But you only find out about Grace through the trial account, through Chris's investigation, and through her journals, because we never actually see her alive.
And DCI Banks, huge TV favourite, of course, now. That's coming back?
Yes, I mean, I did with my impeccable sense of timing. When Banks is coming on television, I publish a non-Banks book. But I'm working on the next one. It's going to be out next year around this time, I hope. and it will be banned.
Right, well, we
Lovely.
look forward to that. Sadly, we run out of time, but lovely to see you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.